To be able to play any chord you want from the information thus far, you need to be able to quickly get to all the notes on the guitar. Then we hang the root of the chord on the desired note. Cold memorization of all the notes could take years. We are going to use different methods to get you to these notes quickly and easily. We are going to use intervals we already know to quickly find any note on the guitar. We start by getting familiar with the notes of the bottom string in pitch, the sixth or low E string. Remember that the notes in a major scale are all a whole step apart except between Mi and Fa, and between Ti and Do are a half step apart. In the key of C, Mi to Fa is E to F, and Ti to Do is B to C. So, in the key of C, all of the notes are a whole step apart except E to F and B to C are half steps or one fret apart. In the key of C, there are no sharps or flats, so this is the key we learn, realizing that the named note sharped is up in pitch towards the bridge one half step or one fret. The named note flatted is one half step or one fret down in pitch towards the nut. From any note on the low E string, we can find all of the notes with the same shared name of that note. For instance, all of the A's, or all of the B's. Notes with a 0 interval will have the same pitch. Notes with an interval of 12 will be an octave higher, and notes with an interval of 24 will be 2 octaves higher. Thus, any note on the guitar that has an interval of 0, 12, or 24, or any multiple of 12 from our starting note will have the same note name. Let's take B for example. First, if we can't remember where B is, we play up from the open low E string, remembering that all of the notes in the key of C are a whole step apart, except E to F and B to C are half steps. We play our count up from E open, up a half step to F, up a whole step to G, up a whole step to A, and finally up a whole step to B. Now from B, we count across the strings in multiples of 5 half steps per string as we have learned. The first string on the same fret up from B being 5 half steps higher, we have the choice of counting down 5 half steps to 0 or up 7 half steps to 12. Counting down 5 half steps can be made faster and easier using your 4 fingers to fill the frets of the root and 3 half steps, and then go down one more whole step, or in other words, 2 half steps to equal the 5. Remember where the major second is in the sus2 triad. To go down a whole step from there would put you at 0. On the same string, remember where you play the 5th, 7 half steps above the root in the power chord. Remembering that a major 6th, which is 9 half steps above the root, or a whole step higher than the perfect 5th, can help you to add up the last 3 steps needed for the octave without having to count each one individually. Seeing the 7 half step interval as 4 plus 3 can help get you there quickly. The second string up from B on the same fret will be 10 half steps higher. The logical choice is to count up 11 and 12 half steps. The other direction would take 10 half steps down to reach an interval of 0 half steps. Not so practical in most cases. The third string higher on the same fret as B has an interval of 15. The closest octave is to count down 14, 13 to 12. The other direction would require counting up 9 half steps to 24. Another maybe not so easy choice for right now. Now the fourth string up from B, we are crossing the G and B strings. So we only add 4 half steps, so we are at 19 half steps. The logical choice is to count up 5 half steps on that string to 24 half steps or 2 octaves. We can also count down 7 half steps from 19 to 12 half steps or 1 octave. Again, seeing 7 half steps as 4 plus 3 half steps can help get you there quickly. The fifth and last string up from B on the low E string, we go back to 5 half steps per string, so we end up at 24 half steps or 2 octaves. Even on this string, though we are already on an octave, we can go up to the next octave by counting up 12 half steps to 36 half steps or 3 octaves from the original note. We can also go down to the next lower octave by counting down 12 half steps from 24 half steps to 12 half steps, or one octave higher than the original note. The possibility of both of these choices are of course depending on your location on the neck. To put it simply, to find any note on the guitar, we count up 5 half steps per string from the note we know on the low E string and count up or down to either a 0 interval or an octave or multiple of 12 half steps. When you start getting to know the notes on the other strings, you can actually apply this method from any note on any string of the guitar, not just the low E string. Just remember to only count 4 half steps when you cross the G and B strings. You can even find intervals on strings below the string you are on by subtracting from 12 in multiples of 5 and then count on that string just like when counting on the strings above. Just realize you are dealing with the next lower octave. By learning the use of intervals and each interval name, with just a little experience, you can quickly locate any note and build any chord from that location. Even more complex chords containing the upper intervals can be built and easily understood. This works much better than memorizing little black dots and the names of the chord associated with a particular pattern. You will understand the meaning of the chord by understanding the intervals.